You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
Feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it. The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together. Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Will Dugson, with my buddy, Kev Huggin Duggan.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Let's not forget Kyle, the coach, Duggan.
That was the same vibe I was getting. I thought you were going to go with Vietnam, but I'm glad you didn't. Kevin, it was
Thank
a
you.
mayup. Way to
Yeah.
send that thing home.
Hey, listen, one
Buzzer
good turn
beater.
deserves another, baby. He gave me
Butler
a good
buzzer
layup
beater,
for
am
the
I right?
Patriots.
Let's go. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, another episode where there's stuff. It feels like we're going to be kind of regurgitating some information.
little
but,
dry, like
yeah, but there's still some things that have happened that we need to talk about. We've got a Bolt beat lined up and a Ask Boltfam. So let's start it off here at the top. It's finally official. We talked about it last week as if it was official because we thought it was
I felt
official.
pretty official based on what everyone
But
was
then
saying.
they
Everyone
were
else,
like-
yeah.
Then they were like, "Oh, we're going to interview this guy and this guy." It's like, "Oh, we thought
Here's
you
what I
picked the
here's
guy."
what, here's what I think happened. I think they made the announcement and then they're like, "Oh shit, we still have to like interview a few people for like there's like a rule where they have to interview a certain amount of people for an open position." And they're like, "Oh shit. All right, dude, we got to take that back from you. We're going to interview some people and then we'll give it right back, okay? Just chill."
I'm sure the people that got interviewed were just like, I don't know why I'm even
Why am I-
interviewing for this job.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
because it didn't come from the Chargers. It came from other sources that Derrick Ansley was going to be the new defensive coordinator for the Chargers. And we all thought, we took that as gospel. And the Chargers hadn't really said anything
Thanks,
about it.
Pelissaro.
Yeah. So now it is official. Derrick Ansley is officially the new defensive coordinator for the Chargers. Tom Donatel, yes, is the passing game coordinator / secondary coach. Doug Neusmeyer, we have already talked about him being the quarterback coach, and Jeff Howard being the linebacker coach. So,
Did you guys see that Ansley video the Chargers put up today with like him?
Yeah.
oh yeah, the mic'd up, yeah,
Yeah,
He's fired
that was.
up. I love
Yeah,
it.
I'm excited. He's
kind of
definitely
cool
got.
that they had him mic'd up last year.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like when you're doing those kind of productions and you hear somebody going off and being awesome, you're like, all right, can I throw a mic on you? So I think it's a little different vibe than maybe what we had with Hill.
Oh, it certainly was. I think we saw a couple of instances of Hill being mic'd up, not like a whole video, but like in some of the all-in episodes, we would see some clips of him. And nothing against Ronaldo, but he didn't quite have the personality
chill.
that Derrick Ansley has
Yeah,
been
even
showing off.
in the interviews and stuff that he had too, it was just very melancholy, chill vibes the whole time.
Yeah.
Which, if you're not really the DC, and like you're helping to coordinate the defense, but
Mhm.
Staley's calling the plays. He's the one that has the final say. So you have to have some aspect, I feel like, in dimension that's different that you add to the team instead of like trying to be another solemn, I gotta call plays DC type. So
Right.
I think it's great. I love it.
Just didn't have the same kind of passion, which,
Yeah.
nothing against Ronaldo.
No.
Hope he has a great career, doing everything that his little heart desires. But in the news of Ansley being promoted, Derwin James tweeted out, "One of the hardest workers I know. Deserve it for show. Happy for you, Bolt."
That's sick. That's
Bolt
cool
emoji,
because
Derwin.
he was the DB coach, so it's like
Right.
he knew Derwin. Derwin knew him all too well. So that's, you gotta love that he's out there publicly shouting him out.
Absolutely.
I mean, we don't know a whole lot about the guy. He's a DB coach, right? So, but it's cool to see him getting that kind of recognition on Twitter.
Right. Yeah. Especially from Derwin James. He didn't have to put that tweet out. He could have just
No.
texted the guy and been like, "Hey, man, congratulations," or something like
Right.
that. But to put a tweet out there that, like, hey, he gets the Derwin James seal of approval,
Yeah.
something at least a little bit to be excited about.
Well, and Staley's very much about relationships and like being a
Yes.
leader and that kind of thing. And this is clearly that's a the prerequisite for the job, and he was doing it in spades. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
he's kicking ass.
Made an impact. So some more Chargers staff changes. Adam Schefter tweeted out, Chargers parted ways this week with head trainer Damon Mitchell. who had performed the job for 6 seasons and been with the organization for 24 years. It's a hell of a time.
Damn.
Chargers now will have a new head trainer, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator in 2023.
Well, you guys were hoping for that completely new staff. You got it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this one was weird too because, I feel like maybe the reason why this happened, why Damon Mitchell, because we didn't know Damon Mitchell. He's on the roster of coaches, but we didn't ever talk about him before. But there was a lot of times this past season where coach would say something about an injury and would have to walk it back pretty quick. And that was Damon Mitchell's job. Like he's coordinating the doctors and all that. So there was he seriously dropped the ball this year on when people would be ready, when they should play, that kind of stuff. So, he just had a bad year, and, I'm glad that they're recognizing this and not just, hey, he's been here with us 24 years. We'll just let this year slide. Like, no, let's make a change. Like I can see why that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Staley doesn't strike me as the guy that's going to put out false hopes, in a press conference or something like
that.
He
seemed pissed about it when he had to back it up. He was like, hey man, I'm just, he's a straight shooter. Like if he says like, yeah, we should get him back in, X amount of time. I think he's being honest when he says that,
right.
He's not trying to pull the wool over any fans' eyes or anything like that. So I think it's a possible valid point that, yeah, Damon Mitchell might have been like, oh yeah, he'll be back in 2 weeks. Is that for you? And then Staley goes, okay. And he says 2 weeks. And then 7 weeks later, it's like, oh man,
thanks, bro.
What's going on?
Appreciate it.
So it'll be interesting, something to keep an eye on as far as who ends up getting in that head trainer position. Obviously, we don't know any possible head trainers out there that the Chargers might pick up, but anybody that can help us not sustain some of the injuries that we sustained this last season.
We'll take it.
And be honest about the turnaround times, that's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
Well, the Broncos have been hiring some familiar faces. Mike Kliss tweeted out, per source, Broncos are hiring Michael Wilhoit as a linebackers coach. He was apparently with Sean Payton in New Orleans from 2019 to 2020. Spent the last 2 years as the Chargers linebacker coach. That's one.
Yeah.
And 2, Adam Schefter tweeted out, Broncos officially named Joe Lombardi as the offensive coordinator, Vance Joseph as defensive coordinator, Mike Westhoff as assistant head coach, and Ben Kotwicka as special teams coordinator. So are you surprised that Lombardi went to another offensive coordinator position and didn't take a step down, to be like quarterback coach?
Well, it's going to be something similar to Ansley with us. Like Sean Payton's going to call the plays. So it's Joe Lombardi being on the staff. He knows him. It's easy, hit the ground running type of thing. It's just he got the glamorous title of OC. He'll get paid like an OC, but he's really just like an assistant to Sean Payton.
Well, Dad, you don't expect too many halftime adjustments help Sean Payton because he didn't do that for us very well last year.
Yeah, it's just it's odd to me. Like the Broncos are bringing in some big names. Like Vance Joseph was their head coach.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
That is a strange one. Yeah,
and now he comes back as a DC under a guy that did he have a big relationship with Lombardi? Was he in New Orleans or anything? It feels weird.
I don't know
weird
the connection.
How is Peyton pulling all of these bigger names to want to come back? I mean, what they're working with is kind of bleh, and they don't have draft picks. Bleh,
is there a cap for coaches? Is there a certain amount
that can say? I don't think so.
Because I feel like the way that was it the Walmart guys that own the Broncos now? They're like,
oh yeah,
we're putting a new field in every week. Like, just get 8 head coaches on this team. We'll pay them all. Give them all $50 million.
Yeah.
I feel like the money's walking over there right now for why their staff is the way it is. And they almost got Rex Ryan out of retirement. He makes TV money. He's not going to walk in there So they were talking to people that would require some change. I think that's what the Broncos are doing.
Yeah. Well, if we see Tom Brady get hired as the quarterback coach, then we have a pretty good idea that money speaks. Money talks and money walks. But yeah, it'll be interesting to play against the Broncos next year, seeing some of those familiar faces. Will it make a difference for their playing ability? Only time will tell.
I don't know. There was all that drama too about Russell Wilson. I guess one of his longtime friends and mental coaches kind of guy.
I saw that. Yeah.
He passed away and people, that was last year. Like, I think he passed away like in the off season.
Yeah, Ryan
And-
Leaf had a pretty interesting story about that.
Yeah, and there was some thought that potentially had a huge impact on his play on the field. So maybe it was a one-off fluke, kind of Russell Wilson season, but I don't know. I don't think it was. Like, he didn't run well. He didn't make good decisions.
Right.
He was still, I don't know. Maybe that's like an explanation for his high knees on the plane. I don't know.
Apparently he brought in his own staff. And then they asked Sean Payton, is Russell going to have his own staff this year? He's like, no, it's not going to happen here.
What do you mean own staff?
He brought in his own QB coach. He brought in like his own people and had his own office at the Broncos on another floor.
He had an entourage.
that like doesn't happen. So it was just like, I can't remember their last
I've got a juice
coach's
guy.
name, but he just like let the shit happen. And that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he brings his own blenders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like you can throw as many coaches as you want at this, but it doesn't seem like you have the guys there to really make too much happen,
Well, they definitely don't have the draft capital for everything they gave away to get Russell Wilson. So,
and Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like, they gave up first round picks for the next several years. It's an odd thing. Like the coaches are better than what they had.
Sure.
It just feels like it's just an odd thing. Like these guys would want to go coach there right now when Lombardi has to be better. Like he needs to bounce back in a big way, or his next opportunity is going to be significantly less.
Coach.
That's a weird. You risk your name going to coach Russell Wilson, who had one of his like an all time bad season last year. I don't know. It just feels weird. I don't understand the momentum that they have going in Denver.
It is very strange. Yeah. I don't know how many gallons of paint you could put on a pig and hope for something different, but we'll have to see next season. But coming up next this week, the Combine apparently is happening. NFL Network will have more than, good Lord, 50 hours of live
People
coverage
running around
of
in
this year's
spandex
event, beginning March 2nd. Day-by-day schedule March 2nd. 3 to 8 p.m. You've got your defensive linemen and linebackers. March 3rd, you get defensive backs, punt, kick, and special teams. March 4th, you get QBs, wide receivers, tight ends. That seems to be the day that I think everybody will be watching.
Yeah, that's the big day.
That's the big one. And then March 5th, you get offensive linemen and running backs. So
Saturday, Sunday are the big days to go watch. The other ones are like, you turn it on if you're bored, but I feel like, especially for the Chargers, the wide receivers and tight ends are what you're going to want to be watching.
That's going to be the big one.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get a lot on how they play football based on the Combine. You're going to see how athletic they are. So if somebody, go watch it, and if somebody stands out to you, go on YouTube, type in their name, and see how they played. That's what I'm going to be doing most of Saturday and Sunday. So, so I'm looking forward to seeing the new crop of talent that's going to come. Hopefully, some of them to the Chargers this year.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see, and we've got a new crop of Patreon supporters, baby. Thank you for that softball, Kevin. I appreciate it. We've got some new names from our patreon.com/ChargerChat. Quite a few, actually. This might be the biggest grouping I've seen in a while. We've got Tony Parker, Arnie. I'm assuming that's Arnie. It could be RK Knee.
It's
I'm
Arnie.
not sure.
It is Arnie.
It's Arnie. Okay.
It is Arnie.
We've got CD, our old friend CD, Heather Melton, and Athir Kadir.
Welcome to the party,
joining
pals.
the Patreon. Yes, thank you all for joining patreon.com/ChargerChat, where we've got some funny ass videos coming down the pike.
And do you guys want to see a little promo we put together?
Yeah. Hey, if you're curious what we're doing over at Patreon, Kevin put together a little.
Yeah, by we put
Sizzle
together,
reel.
we
Sizzle.
mean Kevin put together.
We do everything together. Okay, no one takes the full
Did
credit.
I say we? I meant Kevin.
Yeah, we.
Well, I was around.
Roll the film.
Oh, guten Tag! You've joined the Charger Chat Patreon. Good choice, by the way.
Got another fun little video lined up for you guys.
Kevin.
Blue
Welcome to the second Zoom Hangout.
Kyle's here. What's up, Coach?
Look at the brisket.
Look at the brisket
brothers.
brothers laughing.
Look at them laugh at us.
We send out a request if you got a question for Braden.
We go to Blockbuster and we go get the Zodiac. And I'm like, what are we doing, man?
Welcome back to a Coach's Corner Hollywood edition. I stopped by Blockbuster again. I reached into the movie bin.
And it was me who was hurt in front of everybody.
This is Kevin's speech to Justin Herbert. I trusted you.
Kind of you buy.
So there you go, folks. That's some of the fun stuff that you can find over at patreon.com/chargerchat. And if you don't want to go over there, that's all right. You can go on over to chargerchat.com. Check out all the cool stuff we got over there. T-shirts, hoodies, and stickers. You can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers in our member section and ask questions and Ask Boltfam. So go check out chargerchat.com. All right, time to go on to the next segment. Is our old friend Jason Reed from Bolt Beat.
Bolt Beat.
Welcome back to another edition of the Bolt Beat. As always, I am your host, the acting editor over at boltbeat.com, Jason Reed. You can follow us over at BB_Chargers on Twitter, myself at Eat Your Reedies on Twitter, even though I'm on a little bit of a Twitter plunge right now, and follow our work over at boltbeat.com for all of your Chargers off-season content. Right now, February 27th, the day we're recording this, we are in what I like to call the calm before the storm. There's two calms before two storms in the NFL calendar. We're in the first one. We are in the calm before the combine. Combine, get it? The calm before free agency, the calm before the draft. This is the calm we're in right now. Once the NFL combine kickstarts, which is kickstarting this week, that's when all the stuff comes out. We're already starting to see some of the cap casualties. We're going to see the prospect rankings from the combine. We're going to see mock drafts, free agency. Everything's going to start taking shape for what is a wild NFL offseason the next 2 months, 2.5 months. And then we get the calm of the summer. You know, everything starts simmering down. People go on vacation. It's baseball season. I'm a huge baseball fan. Not a lot of people love baseball. That's the big NFL calm. That's when it's hard writing Chargers content 2-3 times a day because nothing's going on in the month of July and August. But then we get training camp and we get the preseason and the season gets underway. That's the second calm. We're currently in the first calm. So there's not really too much to talk about. I mean, we have some coaching staff changes. You know, we have some cap casualties for other teams. But right now, with it being combine week, I wanted to share my pre-combine, my final pre-combine Chargers mock draft, 7-round mock draft. Now, this mock draft's a little bit different because normally I don't like doing trade downs in mock drafts because they can be a little bit unpredictable. Sometimes we'll see on Twitter fans are doing 6 trade downs in one draft. They'll trade down in the first round, then trade down again, and suddenly the Chargers have 26 draft selections and only like 8 roster spots to fill. So that's when it gets a little bit ridiculous. But trading down in the first round is something that could happen, is a little bit easier to predict just based off previous trends and value and whatnot. And it's something the Chargers should be interested in doing, quite frankly. Tom Telesco has never done it in his career as Chargers general manager, and that should change. Chargers have a lot of holes this offseason that they aren't going to be able to fill with the salary cap because they're 20 plus million over the salary cap, making the draft that much more important. So if the Chargers can trade down, pick up an extra pick, or maybe 2, in this instance, I only have 1, pick up an extra pick in the top 75, top 100, that's only going to help the team in the long run. So in this mock draft, the trade I mocked that I believe is realistic is trading the 21st overall pick to the New Orleans Saints for the 29th and the 71st overall pick. The Saints have the 29th pick from the San Francisco 49ers. They do not have their own pick in the first round. And this kind of goes along with the value that's similar. Last year, we actually saw these two places swap, which was an accident. I didn't mean that on purpose, but we saw the Chiefs trade up to the 21st overall pick. In that trade, the Chiefs got, I believe the Patriots got, because the Patriots were the ones that traded back. Patriots got a 3rd and a 4th, and I think they got like a 4th rounder back in return. But that 3rd and 4th rounder was like the 97th and the 120th or whatever it was. This is the 71st, hence why it's only 1 pick instead of 2. If you actually go on the draft pick value chart, the Chargers are actually slightly getting the better deal, but I don't fully follow that chart because it doesn't, there's so many factors that it doesn't account for. And in this instance, I think the Saints are a key team that could trade up because they could be needing a quarterback. Andy Dalton was their starter last year. If they don't get Derek Carr, which, I mean, go ahead, go for mediocrity if you want Derek Carr. If they don't want Derek Carr, then they should probably draft someone in the first round. The Ravens have pick 22. There's another team in there that could be needing a quarterback. They're off the top of my tongue. I can't get it right now, but that's a spot. That's a key spot for the Saints to try to move up, maybe take the last of the first round quarterbacks. And it's not too big of a price. So that's why that's the trade down I theorize could happen. Hopefully it'd be great if something like that could happen. Now, going through the mock draft, first round, 29th pick, I used Pro Football Focus's mock draft simulator, which has some players off. It had Jalen Hyatt as like a late second rounder for a long time. I think they actually fixed that. So it's not perfectly accurate, and it's going to change with the combine. But using that 29th pick, Dalton Kincaid, tight end, Utah. I'm not fully sold on the Chargers taking a tight end just because Gerald Everett was better than I think a lot of people realized last year, and he was solid. And yeah, you could save money if you cut or trade him, but it's still not that much money. So if you can keep him and pay him for one more year, might as well. That being said, even if Everett stays, if someone like Kincaid falls to 29 and you pick up that extra top 75 pick, you afford yourself the ability to draft a tight end in round one that will have an impact in year one, but then will blossom into that TE1 in year two and beyond and kind of truly potentially be an elite tight end. I really like Kincaid. I like him more than Meyer. I think I said that in the last Bolt Beat. He's my tight end one on the board. If you could trade down, get an extra pick, still take him. That's excellent in my book. So I got Kincaid going 29. 54th overall pick, Will McDonald, Iowa State edge rusher. This is a prospect that I am in love with. A lot of draft, analysts are in love with. I am by no means like a great draft analyst. I just kind of follow positions the Chargers could take. McDonald wasn't utilized great in Iowa State, wasn't lining up in the proper things. Like they really didn't utilize him. Someone over at Pro Football Focus, I don't remember off the top of my head, he posted the pass rush win rates, and he was second when he was one-on-one, rushing off the edge in college football last year. He's a freak athlete. Yeah, you could say he's a little raw with his technique and whatnot, but again, the coaching and the scheme wasn't the best for him in Iowa State. And this is just a perfect guy to be the third edge rusher behind Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa for a year. Mack's probably going to be his last year with the Chargers, and then he blossoms into the starting edge rusher next to Joey Bosa next year. I really like Will McDonald, but I also think he is someone who could climb up the boards and might not be there at 54. So that's kind of like an Asante Samuel dream selection for me if he does fall in the second round. With the 71st pick, the pick that they got from the Saints, I have the Chargers taking Tyler Scott, the wide receiver from Cincinnati. Charger fans want speed. Well, here it is. This is a guy who was rumored to run a 4.26 40-yard dash as a freshman at Cincinnati. That is not confirmed. Many people project him to run a high 4.20, low 4.30s. He is speed. He is explosive with the ball in his hands. He could take the top off of a defense. And this is pretty much a rich man's version of Jalen Guyton. His route tree could use some work. He's not the best with making contested catches, catches at the point of attack, things like that, catches in traffic. But he's a speedster. He could take the top off. He's someone with speed that you have to respect, that defenses have to respect, but he's also someone who could work underneath and kind of make things happen when he gets the ball in his hands. Rich man's Jalen Guyton. I really like this selection. Yeah, it's not an elite wide receiver one, but you get a nice compliment to the receiver room. And then next year, if Keenan does move on or whatever the case is, then you could take a first round receiver and just keep building up that room, similar to how the Bengals just kept adding resources into it. With the 85th pick, the Chargers' original third round pick, I had him taking Christopher Smith, safety out of Georgia. This guy checks multiple Brandon Staley boxes. Number one, he's a Georgia guy. Brandon Staley loves Georgia. He selected multiple Georgia prospects in his two drafts. He hired someone from Muschamp. I can't remember his first name off the top of my head right now, to be a defensive analyst. He likes Georgia, and this is a Georgia guy. Number two, he's a versatile defensive back. He plays free safety, but he also can play nickel corner. He's kind of like the perfect type of replacement to replace Nasir Adderley, who's probably going to leave the team. Yes, they took JT Woods last year, but he didn't even see the field last year. He might end up playing cornerback for them. He might end up playing a lot more slot corner. And Smith is just someone who's versatile. He doesn't have to play every snap. They still have a Alohi Gilman, but he adds to that defensive back room. I think they target safety over cornerback in the draft just because if JC Jackson comes back, you have Jackson, Michael Davis, Asante, and you still have Jasir Taylor. You still have Dean Leonard. So I think safety is the more logical position to target in the secondary, which we know Brandon Staley loves to do. With the 125th pick in this Chargers mock draft, I am taking Tank Bigsby, running back out of Auburn. Chargers have taken a lot of mid-round running backs these last few years. Charger fans are probably sick of it, but none of them have really hit like the Chargers have wanted to. Isaiah Spiller was not NFL ready last year, and there's a decent chance he's not NFL ready next year. He's the youngest prospect in the entire class. He's still only going to be 22, I believe. And it's just, I don't see the Chargers banking everything on Spiller when they couldn't even trust him to be active last year. Yeah, Joshua Kelly was decent, but they still didn't trust him that much. They still didn't give him as many carries as Charger fans wanted them to give him. Part of that might be Lombardi. He's gone now, but it's still Kelly's last year under contract. Roundtree is just a special teams guy. You shouldn't not draft someone because you have Larry Roundtree on special teams and on the practice squad. I like Bigsby. He doesn't add a lot of value as a receiving back, which is kind of why he's falling, but he's a good athletic kind of one cut back. The Draft Network on their analysis compared him to like a Kenneth Walker. I doubt he's that good. But he's someone who could potentially complement, maybe fill in a role, as a between the tackles runner for the Chargers this year. And if not, at least year two, at least get more bodies in that running back room. When you had the worst running attack in the league, you have to continue to add resources to it if you want to improve. With the 158th pick, I went Luke Haggard, tackle, Indiana. I assume that the Chargers re-signed Trey Pipkins in this mock draft, but they should still take a tackle because, I don't think they're not going to have a swing tackle. Storm Norton's not going to return. Foster Sorrell shouldn't be the guy. Salyer's going to play left guard. At least he should if Pipkins is returning. Of course he is. So they need a swing tackle. They go and get one in the 5th round. Luke Haggard's a guy who's worked up from JUCO into a 4-year, has been good everywhere he's played. He's not super flashy. He's not super, his size and his speed and his strength doesn't jump off the page, but he's been a consistent guy, working his way up the football ladder. So I think that's a good, safe pick to take in the late rounds to have as a backup, kind of get your hands on him, mold him to be a decent enough swing tackle. With the 200th pick in the 2023 NFL draft, I went with perhaps my favorite late round flyer, Devonshaw Maxwell. He's a defensive lineman from Chattanooga. This is a guy who could flat out rush the passer. Not great against the run, but he is built to be a 3-4 defensive end. Go get the quarterback. The Chargers, even though they haven't fully fixed their run defense woes, don't need a run stuffing interior defensive lineman. They still have Sebastian Joseph Day. They still have Austin Johnson. Braden Fajoko's really stepped up and deserves a role in the rotation. Otito Ogbonia is better against the run, and he's going to be back. They might be losing Morgan Fox. They obviously already lost Jerry Tillery, but that's not really losing much. So they need someone to replace Fox. Now, Devonshaw is not going to be a straight up replacement for Fox right away, but he's someone with a lot of potential rushing the quarterback. And at the very least is someone they could throw in on passing downs, 3rd down, 2nd and longs to go get the quarterback and really benefit from having Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, flanking him on the outside. He's my favorite late round prospect. I would love to see the Chargers draft him here in the 6th round. And finally, in the 7th round, I drafted someone I'm not super familiar with. Like I'm not going to pretend like I'm researching these 7th round prospects, know everything about him. I went with Carlton Marshall, linebacker out of Troy. The limited stuff I do know about him: he was the captain of his defense. He was the green dot. He called plays. He made pre-snap adjustments. And he's a linebacker. Whether or not they lose Drew Tranquil, they could use more depth at the position. You're looking to get someone who can make an impact on special teams. Someone of Marshall's stature should be able to make an impact on special teams. And, you just get a leader that can, contribute in multiple ways, maybe not year one on the defense, but could grow into that and whatnot. So that's my Chargers 7th round mock draft with a trade down. I really like it. Of course, I feel like we always like any mock draft we make. But this one I really like. I feel like you check a lot of boxes. Yeah, they go running back again, and that's not super, favorable. Yeah, they wait till the 3rd round for receiver, but I think this is a good way to kind of get the immediate help you need while also kind of preparing for the future. So that's all I got for you guys next week. Next time I talk to y'all at the Charger Chat, it's going to be Combine's going to be in the past. We'll probably have some more financial kind of decisions that we see the Chargers make with cutting, trading, whatever they end up doing. So there should be more to talk about. We should have a clear picture of free agency, the draft, all of that fun stuff. It's the calm before the storm, and I'm ready for the storm. Until next time, let's get back to the Charger Chat, guys.
Well, if you were expecting a 3-round mock draft, we go the
put on your big boy
way, baby.
I love it.
Jason Reed going the distance with a
he's going for speed.
That was awesome.
Dude, listening to him talk just makes me realize how I've done no research on the draft yet.
Bupkis.
Well, hey, but
I
now
got 1st round hope, and that's it.
The time is now. We got the combine. Now we can really start formulating what we want and what we think is best. I still think a tight end. I think I still like Mayer better, but I think a tight end in the 1st is going to be pretty rad if we can land a tight end.
It would be pretty cool. Yeah, I think there's a lot of possible names out there. And hey, folks, go do your own mock draft. Jason told you where to do it. See if you can get 69 picks with a couple of trade downs.
Do it.
Jason, thank you so
Thanks,
much
brother.
for doing all of the heavy lifting and helping point us in a direction. All right, now it's time to go on to the next segment. It is Ask Boltfam, off-season edition.
Let's go.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
Hi, guys.
Don't jam a thumb up his butthole. That's what you do.
I wet myself in excitement.
Oh, so hungry.
Your thoughts are like totally appreciated.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, love you, boy.
That's right, folks. Time for Ask Boltfam, and we started off with Athir Kadir,
There.
who asked the question.
I have a tough question. Next season, what is the most interesting game? I cannot wait to see my game, Bills at the Bolts, Allen versus Herbert. Hope it's in a prime time game. I also became a new member this morning. Hope you got it. FTR, love you. Bye.
Well, we did, Athir.
Thank you.
I
Sure.
shouted you out, buddy.
We appreciate you, man. We really do.
Absolutely. So, most interesting game next season.
For me, it's always the Chiefs. Forever and always, it's the Chiefs. Like, you have to beat them if you want to win the Super Bowl. That's the echelons that you have to be in. And we were 0 for 2 last year. So
Right.
that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
I am now kind of looking forward to the Cowboys now that we've got Kellen Moore. What is the Cowboys going to look like? That was a dumb sentence. What are the Cowboys going to look like without Kellen Moore in the offensive coordinator position? Could be a nice return, or it's going to be a home game. So yeah, Cowboys coming to us.
For me, it's just sheerly selfishness of my wife's team. We're playing them next year.
Oh, the Pack.
So the Packers. So
oh yeah,
I'd love to. I'm looking forward to that one because it is in Green Bay, and I'm really trying to get my wife to an away game. I haven't taken her to a Packer game since we've had kids, so she's earned it. She's a badass mom, and I got to take her
most
to a game.
definitely.
And then we're gonna beat her ass at home. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, I mean, that's going to be the interesting thing, whether or not they get Rodgers.
Take her to the game. She's gonna cry like a little baby. You're gonna beat her.
You know what, honey? You've earned this. Let's go. Come on.
She did earn it. Not the
for
beating,
Jordan Love.
not the beating, but the enjoyment of the game.
All
Love
right,
you, Josie. I'm sorry. I love
Yeah,
absolutely.
We love you, Josie.
I love you, Josie.
I hope the Packers lose, but I hope you have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Athir, for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Boltville 714, who asked the question.
Hey guys, well done last week on defeating the 12 miniature gorillas. It was a tremendous imaginary fight. Truly magnificent, and although I don't know shit about hey, I knew you could do it, okay? Anyways, this week I have another question for you three. It's going to be great. My question is, if you wanted to get the funniest look from a cashier, which 3 items would you buy from the grocery store or any type of store? Also, paper or plastic. Okay, love you, bye.
Okay.
I'll answer the second question. Neither, because they charge me for bags in the great state of
So
California.
you take your shirt, you hold it up like this, and you put all your shit in. You carry it out to your
bring
car.
your own
Taking
bag.
this home with
Yeah.
me.
taking this with me.
All right. So what are
3 items?
the weirdest? Which 3 items would you buy at the grocery
Okay,
store?
so this happened the other day, and this was kind of awkward.
Ooh.
My son clogged the toilet, and we didn't have a plunger. So going to the store to buy a plunger is really awkward. And, and they obviously assume that I clogged it. You know, they're not gonna. They don't know, and they have no reason to assume. It looks like I clogged my toilet, and I'm at the store now to buy my plunger to fix my shitty toilet.
Yeah. And you bought a mask and some yellow gloves, and you're ready to go. That would get a good look.
That would be good.
Something just happened with my family. It was weird. I was just looked at my wife, and I was like, "This is the weirdest shit you could put on a what is it? The conveyor belt thing, whatever
belt?
that's called.
Yeah.
Come on, words, Kevin, words.
I don't know if that's the right word, but we know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was it? It was like Q-tips, D batteries, and like a Werther's original pack. It was like the weirdest shit.
I was hoping for just one Werther's
just
original,
one Werther's, just drop
little
it.
Twisted
candy.
little
My
piece
son,
of candy.
my son eats candy for like 60-year-olds. Our grandparents used to have in the bowl. It's like that's his jam. So Werther's batteries and Q-tips.
Just
Awesome.
the essentials.
Full send.
Boy, I would have to say there'd have to be something contradictory, like a T-bone steak and some Impossible meat, or like
Real conflicted purchaser here.
Or maybe 2 gallons of ice cream and a big bottle of lactate. I don't know.
Nice.
That's good. That would
It's
be
going to be a fun night. Am I right?
Yeah. And a plunger.
And a plunger. All right. Well, Bolt Bill 714, thank you for
Keeping the
asking
streak alive.
question. Absolutely. Let's move it on now to Check It Into Bucket. Who
go.
asked the question? Let's talk division rivals. Vegas, who will be QB? Denver, what will their O look like with Lombardi and last year's piss poor QB play? And will Kansas City just reload and win the division again?
Good question.
Great question. So, QB.
Starting with Vegas, there's part of me that feels like just because of the connection, like Jimmy Garoppolo kind of feels like something the Raiders might do.
Interesting.
I don't know if Aaron Rodgers makes a ton of sense, or if he is done with his darkness retreat yet.
He's out of the darkness. He's
into the light.
He's emerged.
Yeah.
He saw his
and he's
shadow.
not ready to
2
go
more
back
weeks
to the
of winter.
darkness
Yeah.
that is
There
the
you go.
Raiders.
Yeah.
So it feels like a Jimmy Garoppolo trade or something to grab him. Just kind of a not like a super exciting quarterback.
And then draft a guy in the first 2 rounds as a project
something like that. It feels like what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I agree.
Just because the coach seems like a control freak, and he's gonna want to put his stamp. And quarterback was like, the position he really, that's what he does. So it feels like he's really gonna put his stamp on it this year, and probably will make it so they're not very competitive for a little while. So I'm not mad at whatever they decided to do.
For sure. Yeah, and the Denver's offense, I mean,
we know what that's going to look like. It's just going to be short underneath that. I think it's going to fit. It fits Russell Wilson a lot better than it fit Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
You know, like quick check downs, get the ball out of his hands, underneath, chew up clock, and rely on their really, really good defense. I'm more interested to see what Vance Joseph's able to do with that defense. That's what scares me more than their offense. I think their offense is going to be fine. Sean Payton will call better plays, but it's the defense in Denver that kind of scares me.
Sure.
So I'll be interested to see what they look like.
Most definitely. And then Kansas City reload and win the division again. God, I hope not.
They're going to reload. It's just the coaches are there. People want to play there now.
At some point, Patrick Mahomes' contract has to come home to roost. And I don't know if we've quite gotten to that point yet. I know that pretty soon here he's going to be owed over $50 million a year. I know the first couple of years it was going to be low, but I feel like this might be the year that it starts getting into that 50 mil range, which if it does, they're not going to have a lot of room to spend money elsewhere. So I'm hoping at some point it bites them, but who knows?
Well, hey, let's just beat them. I think with, we've always played such close games with them.
Freaking close.
And I think with this offensive coordinator, it's going to go over the top. I really do. I think we're going to keep keep our foot on the gas and not let them back into these games late, with stupid offensive decisions. So I'm not that worried. If our defense can step up and play better, more consistently through the middle of the season, like they did at the end of last season, I think we're going to be in really good shape.
That is the hope.
Yeah. It looks like, I just looked it up. It looks like he does hit the $49 million mark this year against the cap.
Right. So, they're going to have to make some decisions.
Yeah. He's a fifth of the total salary cap.
What was he last year?
Last year he hit him for 35. The year before that, 7.
Yeah. So now he's like 3 players worth of 3 football players in addition to what he was last year. So it's going to start hurting him.
Eventually, they gotta eventually stop winning, but
stop it.
Chuck it in the bucket. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Hangry Seth, who asked the question. I have made a critical mistake. Draft day is so far. April is out of this world, but we will move forward. Is there a possibility we draft back? Would that be beneficial? Until next week, I'm boldly going where no man has gone before. Okay, love you, bye. Well, as Jason pointed out, Tommy's never done it.
A track record says it probably won't happen unless there's we get there and there's there's a whole bunch of guys we still want in that first round that are still sitting there, and we're going to get one of them if we go back. That's the only way it's going to happen.
It just feels like we're so far back in the draft. I mean, we're at we're 21.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to get by going back 5 or 6 picks? You're going to, I just don't think there's enough value there to draft the guy that you want. And that's that. I don't see Tommy T just doesn't do that. The one time he moved back into the first and drafted Kenneth Murray, that has not paid off for us. So it's just like, I don't see a move happening. I think we're going to draft at our pick and go on with our day. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like what we would do.
Yeah.
His track record shows that. That's just what he does. So
there's no reason to think that he will. But I mean, this is also the year that it could be a make or break year for Tommy. I mean, he's really got to start putting something together.
It's that 10-year thing.
He's got the 10-year itch right now. So will it happen? Time will tell. Hangry Seth, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Humboldt County Fan, who asked the question. Now that I am finally getting over the emotional train wreck of the playoffs, topping it all off with that ridiculous holding call against Philly in the Super Bowl, while the Queefs O-line can just hold all day motherfucking long with impunity, I guess. Okay, I guess I'm not quite over it yet. Anyways, I don't think free agency is going to be much fun this year. In fact, I have a feeling it's gonna suck pretty bad. So really, the draft is the only game in town right now, so that's where I'm putting my psychic energy. I heard you all say you wanted a franchise tight end in the first round, which I totally agree with. I want Kincaid because he seems like more of a downfield threat than Mayer. And if neither of those guys are on there, I think we should probably trade down and get more picks. So here's my question. What are all your positional hopes for each of the first 3 rounds, assuming that position is the best player available? And if you have any particular player in mind, feel free to name them. And then, what positions do you all want the most for depth on day 3? Oh, and about those Charger dodgeball teams, whoever has Keenan Allen wins because he will catch anything Herbert throws. As always, the Pirate Hookers. And just watch, come draft day, they'll probably blow their top 10 draft pick. Can't love you, bye.
Pirate Hookers, they're known for it.
Pirate Hookers.
Pirate. So top 3 positions you want to see us get.
Go.
Right? Go. It's pretty easy for me. It's tight end. Then it's a wide receiver, edge rusher, somewhere in there, depending on between what we, is that what you were going to say?
Where?
No, I feel like me and you have been in agreement of like a draft lineman all day, every day type of vibe.
Weird.
I'm still in the tight end, O-line, D-line. I just want to live in all the best offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Let's just give them to me.
I'm kind of like, I still think you can get some later, and hopefully we get another Sawyer, but just the way things are shaking out, what I'm seeing is like, it feels like if you can get a second round wide receiver that's crazy fast, I think that's more interesting at this point.
I mean, I think when the Herbert contract comes around, there's going to be decision times when it comes to which wide receiver we're going to keep. And I think we need to have somebody ready to go to fill in for one of those positions. So I'm in agreement with tight end, offensive lineman, wide receiver. I think those would be some great positions just because we don't really know if Pipkins is going to stick around. I know Jason seems to think that he will, but I think that still remains to be seen. And I don't know that we're going to hang on to Filer, and Foster Sorrell and Storm Norton are not the answer. So I'd like to see offensive line in one of those earlier draft picks.
Or just the late. I'll take all day 3, all offensive linemen. One of those is going to hit.
Yeah.
Just go rounds 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go.
And then depth.
All line.
Depth on day 3. I mean, offensive linemen would be good. It'd be nice
get
to
4
have
of
some
them.
solid
See
depth.
which one works the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's my move.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to address the linebacker position a little bit.
I was going to say linebacker too. That
Depending on what they do
it's
with
just it's just a versatile position that plays a lot of special teams, and we have some guys hitting free agency. Why can't I think of the guy's name that we brought over from the Rams? Was that on a 1-year deal?
Troy Reeder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a 1-year deal. Yeah.
Yeah, so if he's also a free agent, it's like there's some depth that needs to be addressed there.
Yeah,
I think you're going to have to re-sign some of these guys. They're going to have to figure out the accounting. You're going to have to bring some of these guys back because you're not going to have a linebacking core at all if you just let them all walk. So
exactly.
There's going to be a combo. I think there's going to be some restructuring so they can bring back some of the guys they want, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we need to see some free agency. Something happen, some restructuring. We're seeing it from other teams. We need to see it from the Chargers.
Yeah. We haven't seen any cuts though. That's a sign that they're working on stuff. Hopefully,
they're working on it.
They haven't pulled the trigger too quick.
Yeah. All right. Well, Humboldt County fan, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Susan Tamala,
certified fresh,
who asked the question: when are we gonna get Kellen Moore some Chargers gear? All picks still show him in a Cowboys shirts.
Just need somebody to go and wipe all those images off the internet.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Send him a gift card or something. Like I don't know what. I'm sure by the time that we start seeing,
if he goes to the draft,
anything,
yeah.
I'm sure he's already got a closet full of the stuff.
Bro,
but he just hasn't done any like.
Well, there's a coaching retreat up in Oregon.
Right. Yeah.
It's Kellen and Coach Daly are going to be there.
Yeah.
They're going to be rocking some Charger gear. So
please.
So somebody mentioned putting together GoFundMe to send Kyle up there for the coaches to pay for Kyle to go up there and learn.
That would be rad, Kyle.
Steal all the knowledge from both those guys and give us some real insight for the year.
All right. We just might have to do that.
Might have to do that.
Susan, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Melanie, who asked the question.
Would you rewind time if you can have Rivers and Herbert on active roster together? My mind is blown thinking about this. I love Herbert and I miss Rivers so much.
It sounds like fun, but that's also like if Rivers is there, he's Justin's sitting
Somebody's
behind him.
riding the bench.
Yeah, one of your favorite players is not going to be playing, and that's sad.
And you got a couple alphas that need to be on the field.
Yeah.
It would have been nice for Herbert's rookie season to see Phil on the roster.
But do you want to see Phil get his lung punctured? I don't. I want him. I don't want him to be hurt.
No,
but I want.
And if it did,
Justin
he would have played through it.
He would have absolutely. He wouldn't have bitched about it.
We wouldn't have even heard about it.
No, we wouldn't have. Not until the offseason.
It probably happened with those doctors.
I'm sure
it
happened. Yeah, I mean the idea of Herbert getting any knowledge or any extra sauce from Phil it's a wonderful thought, but at the same time, then you don't get Herbert breaking all the rookie records. You don't get Herbert being offensive rookie of the year. You don't get all the records that he's broken up and up to this point.
You don't get the Chargers going all in on all these big time free agents because we don't know what the future of the quarterback.
That too.
Once he had that rookie season, you're like, okay, we got the guy. We need to go all in now and make things happen. So you get the new coach, go after Khalil Mack. That's when things really started to click.
Yeah. So I want him to hang out,
Just want him to chill, be friends.
Just be friends.
Play some golf. Even if it's just a golf game, I'm fine with that. I can work with that.
Yeah.
Just give him some hangout time. But it's a good thought, Melanie, and we appreciate the question. Thanks you for asking it. Let's move it on now to JV, who asked the question. Being from San Diego myself, I want to know your opinion on the best California burrito spot in San Diego. Me personally, it has to be Lolitas in Chula Vista.
Can't say I've had that one, but
can't say I have either.
We're all North County kids.
Yeah.
We all grew up in Rancho Bernardo. We weren't in Chula Vista much for burritos.
It was sombreros and jalapenos. Those were the two.
Jalapenos is hands down
jalapenos the best
in our community that we would go to. Jalapenos and Carmel Mountain Ranch.
Yeah,
so good. It's still the best.
Yeah,
just talking about it is making my mouth water this second.
Me too. And they just don't mess around. Like you go and get a carne asada burrito, it's just carne asada and guacamole, and that's it.
Yeah,
California burrito is carne asada, guacamole, and French fries, and that's it. You don't mess with it and add pico.
Do not add pico to a California goddamn burrito. Don't do it. Blasphemy.
But if we are in Chula Vista anytime soon, we will definitely.
I'm trying Lolitas. What's the one by the airport? I like that one too. We stopped there every time you pick me up from the airport, Kyle. What was that one called? That was freaking good too. was solid.
They're all good.
The thing is,
I don't know if I've
It's
had
hard to find
one.
a bad one.
Anywhere in San Diego, it's like an embarrassment of riches because all those are like they're like the the top of the country are all there. Even the bad ones are better than everywhere else. Like I'm coming to terms with my C- to D+ California burrito here. I call it an A. It's a Missouri A. It's a California C- D+.
It's a good way to put it there, Kev.
It's a
'Cause I can
Missouri A.
agree. It's a
I
Missouri
had a lot
A,
of time to think about this.
California CD.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, thank you for the option there, JV. We appreciate it. And thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Lexi M, who asked the question.
I just have to get this off my chest. I really want us to draft Travis Hodges Tomlinson. We need to keep the Tomlinson train going. Choo choo. I'm curious to know you guys' thoughts as well. Okay, question time. If you were living in the zombie apocalypse, what current 3 players would you want for your zombie killing group? And number 2, what do you all do on our sad footballless Sundays? I'll go first. Number 1, definitely got to do the dream team, Drew Tranquil, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack. You can feel free to pick either of mine. Number 2, I've been going to the zoo, SeaWorld, and doing brunch with one of my best friends and boyfriend. FTR, FTC, K loves you, bye.
It's a good question. I haven't really thought, like, what are my Sundays? What are they? They kind of all blend together.
There's so much time for
just another day in the week.
So much time.
Yeah, I don't think I don't treat my Sundays with like any bit of preciousness now that football is gone. It's just, all right, this is a free day to do whatever the heck I want.
Free day.
Bonus day.
It's like landing on free parking. It's like, hey, look at all this free time I have now that football's in the off season.
And Trevius Hodges Tomlinson is LaDainian's nephew.
Nice.
So
sign him up.
I don't know how good he is, but
I don't know how good he is.
Like to see that on a Chargers jersey again. He's a cornerback. He's a cornerback. I looked that up.
Yeah, he plays defensive back. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's supposed to go up pretty high in the draft this year. So
really? Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's a stud. So I mean, it'd be sick. Cool. We drafted smaller TCU cornerbacks in the past, and maybe we'll do it again.
Was that Jason Verrett? That didn't work out so well. Stud, but didn't work out well.
Yeah. All right. And then the zombie apocalypse, there you go. Specific roster, Kyle. What current 3 players would you want for your zombie killing group?
I want Braden Fajoko in mine, just because I feel like if you're killing zombies and you're just, a lot of times you're hanging out, it'd be fun to have a character guy.
You're in a downer energy with zombies around. He might lighten the mood.
Yeah. You need the lighten the mood type of guy.
Yeah.
You guys each pick one. Who are you adding to our team?
I would throw Sebastian Joseph Day in that group as well.
We got
keep
some
spirits
goofballs.
up.
Yeah.
We're here for a good time, not a long time. You know
Keep
what I mean?
spirits up, and we're talking big beefy guys here as well. We're not talking like punt kickers.
They are gonna eat up all the supplies though. That's the tough part too.
Hey,
yeah,
small price to pay.
They're also slower
for a chuckle in
and
a time of terror.
hopefully you could outrun them.
We can outrun them. Yeah,
probably not. Probably the slowest guy on the team is still faster than all of us combined.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll say Austin. Seems like he games a lot. Good at headshots, kind of, something like that.
That's true. Yeah.
He's got good accuracy.
Yeah,
good hand-eye coordination.
And he's got the business acumen, so he can deal with all the other people around,
which is so important.
Wheel and deal, make us some money, get us some good trades, like the experience. Like maybe he can sign some helmets, get some money, like let's set it up.
Sure, I like it.
Yeah,
get
us some
sign
bullets.
some helmets.
Yeah,
I'll trade you this signed helmet for some water.
Don't bite me.
My signature and it's protection against zombies.
All right. Well, great question, Lexi. Thank you so much for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Bolt Dan, who asked the question. Okay. First, thank you for everything. Hoo-ha. Are you guys, all 3 of you, coming to watch a game next season and join us at Thunder Rally? Die Hard Bolt Club, Ventura. Hoo-ha.
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 Yeah, we're season ticket holders, baby. We're gonna be there.
Come on, baby. We're gonna be there. Come
home, baby.
Home opener, baby.
We are absolutely going to be going to a game, or
my goal is 3.
Hopefully the home opener.
My
we
goal
always
is
shoot for the home opener.
Home opener, at least 2 other games throughout the year. That's my goal. So,
That's always the goal.
Because
yes.
you and Adam and I have to fly out, fly back. So it's a little
It takes
more,
a lot more planning.
It's a bit more, but that's the goal
to get us out there.
That's right. Who do you think we open with? Look at these teams up here at the top. Who do you think we open with?
I mean, I wouldn't.
Maybe the Cowboys.
Dude, the Cowboys. I mean,
been there, done that. We did that 2 years ago. Didn't we open with them?
Yeah, but now we've got a storyline with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, they probably won't do that again.
I mean, it seems like this last season, a lot of the first games had some kind of a storyline to go off.
Dolphins, maybe.
Dolphins could be a
The
possibility.
rematch,
I could see Bills being a possibility as well.
Yeah.
Or Broncos.
We've named every single team on this list.
I know. We're just saying them all.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It could be one of 8 teams. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be Kansas City. Who knows?
Might have to get. We may not be going to the Bears game because we might have to offer that up to our brother-in-law Tyler because he's a diehard Bears fan.
We'll see. Maybe
hook him up.
We'll see.
Probably not.
It's a good.
He can just buy his own.
There you go. All right, take it back. That.
Yeah. I've offered to take Ty to several games, and I've gotten a hard no every time. So
ooh.
So when his team's actually there, you don't send him the invite.
The offer's not even on the table.
Yeah, the offer's off the board now. Now that you want to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry, bro.
Should have paid your dues and gone to the Browns game.
We'll do a giveaway. We'll just hand the tickets to somebody random. Yeah. Spike game.
All right. So yes, Bolt Dan, be on the lookout. We absolutely will be going to some games next year for sure. Thank you for asking the question. And we go out of Ask Boltfam with Swim Shady, who asked the question. Hey everyone, it's Aaron from Uvalde. Just wanted y'all to know we have a new Chargers fan. She was born at 5:22 in the morning today. Her mother hasn't said anything about her being a Cowboys fan, so I called dibs.
Nice.
If she breaks the dibs, the baby and I agreed she'll be banished to the Raiders Nation. Family, trust, respect, am I right? Anyways, haven't had a question for a while. Had to let the season soak in, so here's my question. Chargers are down by 2. Random, I know. 10 seconds left on the clock. You're at the opponent's 10. It's 4th down. It's the Super Bowl. No timeouts. For some reason, all our quarterbacks and kickers are hurt. All our capable players already said no. Coach has no choice but to grab someone from the crowd. Tommy T told Coach to get someone or else we're blasting him off to space with Mark Davis and an enraged ape. Coach is searching the crowd. He spots you 3 godlike specimens.
Oh, no.
He tells y'all that one of you has to score a touchdown or kick a field goal to win the game. Who do you choose and what route do you go? Remember, there is no other option. LOL, good luck.
Congratulations, Papa.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, congrats, dude.
For baby
that's
Shady.
Awesome. It's amazing. Yeah. Don't let mom have her. I've strong.
No.
There is some Packer stuff in our house. My boys won't say that shit. When they see, literally my son the other day looked up in his closet and said Chargers. My 3-year-old was like Chargers and wore his jersey all day.
Brainwashed him.
I didn't prompt it. It is now happening naturally.
Happened.
It just happened. So keep your head down, do the work. I respect that. Congratulations.
All right. Super Bowl. 1 play left.
All right.
One of us is going in.
Kyle,
I'm not kicking any field goals. That's for damn sure.
Who scored? Because you and I
chance.
both played fullback, didn't we? In Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Who scored the most touchdowns?
I don't know. Did you score?
I had 2.
How many did you score?
I had 2.
I scored more than for sure.
But it wasn't at the 10. We're talking inches.
I'm not running in from in the NFL. I'm not running in from the 10.
What are you gonna do? What are the other options?
I'm throwing up a ball to
Mike
on the outside. Yeah. I'm in shotgun, getting that ball and tossing it as soon as I can.
Can you imagine the panic that would set in?
This is a nightmare. Honestly, it's a nightmare. It's just no.
This is a nightmare. Sorry.
No, it's a nightmare. Definitely not kicking a ball for sure.
No.
That would be bad.
That's way too much pressure.
No. that's an easy shank.
Just
But
throw it up really high.
out of the three of us, it would have to be one of you two because it ain't gonna be me.
I'll go.
tell you that
I'll
right
go with
now.
Kyle because he's 6 years younger than I am. So we'll go with the
Less likely to break a hip or something.
Yeah. Age before beauty for sure. We'll go with Kyle, the younger age for sure.
Okay.
He's got less miles
so
on him.
he's
Okay?
younger, but he's ugly, or is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's shocked. It's for sure not the first time he said something like that on here.
That's my MO. What are we talking about here?
I've just never heard it quite put that way.
Because it's never used that way. Because that's not how it works.
There's no way you could give a compliment and say Kyle would be better in this situation.
He's younger.
You got
He's got less
to
miles.
turn it around to make
right.
make it.
He had
make
to think
sense.
of something.
Yeah. I'd say Kyle's probably in better shape right now. I say he's probably the guy that should try and win us our first Super Bowl.
Right, somebody that like won't either A, get a pulmonary embolism, or 2, strain some kind of tendon and snap. And
we all know Coach would call himself in the game. Staley's putting that helmet on and ready to rock and roll.
Coach definitely doing it. Or Kellen Moore, get in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, Swim Shady.
We're sending in Kyle.
Yeah, we're sending in Kyle, the coach Duggan.
Sacrifice.
Can you put it up to
myself.
Mike Williams? We'll have to wait and see.
Kyle, the player, Duggan for one play.
We don't have to wait and see. We'll never know.
It'll happen.
We'll wait and see. It could
We're
happen.
willing it
Just
into
wait.
existence at
Wait
this
and
point.
see.
All right, Swim Shady, thank you for asking the question, and thank you everybody for asking questions and Ask Bolt Fam. We greatly appreciate it in this off-season lull, but hey, there could be some news coming up any moment now, any week. We might see something happen, and we're going to be here to talk about it. So until next week, any final thoughts there, gentlemen?
No, let's watch some dudes run around in their underwear. Am I right, boys?
Yeah, let's get ready for some underwear.
Let's get ready for some push-ups and jumps and leaps and twirls and somersaults and
running fast.
Whole bunch of linemen with their little bellies hanging out of their shirts, running their 40s. It's going to be awesome.
Let's hope for some bloopers, but
yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat, folks. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Are you sick of all the small talk at the grocery stores? What's with that? Why don't people mind their own freaking business? That's why we started the Mind Your Business Grocery. We don't care. We just mind our business. And business is great. So when you come to Mind Your Business Grocery, you won't hear, "Whoa, big plans this weekend? Whoa, what happened? Your kid clogged the toilet again, Kyle? Whoa, someone likes Werther's Originals." Not in our store. We mind our business. So come on down to Mind Your Business Grocery. Or don't. It's none of my business.